Good morning. Buenos dias. Bonjour. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Aloha. Bom dia. Portuguese. Bom dia. What's it?
That's Chinese again.
That's Chinese. That's one of the Chinese dialects. Yeah. And so I've been practicing. I think I looked it up, spent time, and I'm not going to get it exactly right, but I think I made out the word teszt for Polish, teszt, something like that. It's close, teszt. I'll work on that pronunciation. And with our Irish friends, we say, top of the morning to you. This has become a tradition here at Plymouth, saying good morning in the different languages of the people from around the world, because we are one human family. Welcome to our homecoming, a celebration of Plymouth. The day is here, and the moment is here, and we welcome all of you and express our joy to see you and to be joined together as one spiritual family. Thank you for coming out, and welcome. Welcome to Plymouth for everyone in person and also online. We are an open and affirming congregation in the United Church of Christ, embracing and affirming of the LGBTQIA plus inclusion community. We are also a WISE congregation, which means that we are welcoming, inclusive, supportive, and engaging of those who are struggling with mental illnesses and mental challenges. This, too, is an official designation of the United Church of Christ. So we are both open and affirming and a WISE congregation. If you'd like to follow along with service this morning, you can find the bulletin on our website or in the Plymouth app. There are rhythm instruments and finger labyrinths in the back corner of the room if you like to play during the congregational singing or use a labyrinth. You may get them at any time during the service. Let us start our service with a centering moment. There is a wonderful verse in one of the Psalms that says how good and pleasant it is when kindred join together. How good and pleasant it is when kindred join together. And then in that same psalm, the psalmist says, for there God ordains God's blessings. And so this morning I invite all of us to center ourselves on those words, on that truth, how good it is and pleasant for kindred to live together in unity. For there, God ordains God's blessings. We center ourselves in the blessings of our friendship. We center ourselves in the blessings of our love. We center ourselves in the blessings of the peace that we share with one another. When we enter this sacred space and walk on this holy ground, we are safe. The peace of Jesus reigns here, and it reigns in our hearts and minds. How good and pleasant it is to be together as kindred, for there God ordains God's blessings. We center ourselves on this truth. Amen. Let us join together in singing the worship and praise song.
Holy One, may your presence here open our minds. May your Spirit among us help us to find you are rising up now like a fountain of grace from the holy ground here in this place, here in this place. Holy One, may your presence here open our minds. May your Spirit among us help us to find you are rising up now like a fountain of grace from the holy ground here in this place, here in this place.
I was already offering, so sorry about that. We welcome all our visitors, and we're thankful for your presence here with us. If you're interested in learning more about Plymouth, you may contact Pastor Felix. We invite you to check out Thursday's Thoughts, our email newsletter, to stay up to date with all the exciting and moving events going on at Plymouth. We will be having a potluck after this service. Please join us in fellowship and enjoy food prepared by those attending, as well as barbecue from Rudy's. We were told that it was not a good idea to tell people we were having a potluck because people just thought that was a lot of dishes that didn't match. So I want to emphasize the barbecue from Rudy's, and then we will have side dishes prepared by those of us who are attending. We will also have online fellowship after the service so that our online community will be able to fellowship with those in person. So online community, please make sure that you hang on after the service and join us in that fellowship. Spring Interfaith Council would be holding their Thanksgiving service on November 18th at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Details are in Thursday's Thoughts for this exciting multi-faith community event. If you're interested in singing in the choir for this service, please see Amy Friday or Pastor Felix for details. One other announcement I would like to make is that Mark Vines and I had the privilege of attending the Converging 2023. It is a Convergent Music Project convention. And that particular project is focused on how do we create music, whether it be reclaiming hymns or contemporary music. How do we create that so that it is open, welcome, and affirming to everyone, including those in the LGBTQIA+ community, and including those who have been hurt by the church. We are going to be talking with Pastor Felix about everything that we learned, and this is going to be becoming a part of how we are on our transformation journey with Plymouth, and so look forward to things that might be changing a little bit in the future. Now we would like to recognize anyone celebrating a birthday or an anniversary. You can make a donation to our Little White Church for any amount. You can also donate in the app under Giving and select the Birthdays and Anniversaries Fund. Do we have any birthdays or anniversaries? Pastor Felix remembered his check.
Last week I announced last Sunday that my birthday, I would be celebrating my birthday on October 18th. And I didn't bring a check, but here's my check. 62 years old.
Any other birthdays or anniversaries? Amy? All right, Miss Nee.
As part of the homecoming celebration, it is Plymouth's 45th anniversary.
Please stand if you would like. You may remain in your seats and join me in our responsive call to worship. When distance separates us, love cannot.
Near or far, we are a family united by God's love.
When time lapses and space seems to be great, God's peace and our precious memories are unfailing.
Shared times, sounds, and expressions of home are forever etched in our hearts.
We're grateful for a place to call home and people we call family. Our unending love for one another leaves a legacy for generations to come.
No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
You can remain standing or be seated if you would like, and let's sing together, No Matter, number 35 in your sing book, which is located under your seat, and we're going to do verses 1 and 3. Please remain standing and join me in the gathering prayer, which comes from the New Zealand Book of Prayer. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God, in whom is heaven, the hallowing of your name echoes through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustains our hope and comes on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and tests, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. You may be seated.
Our biblical witness comes from the Gospel of Luke. We find it in chapter 24, verses 28 through 33. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together.
Our contemporary witness this morning are quotes from Albert Einstein and Gloria Steinem. Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. Gloria Steinem. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein.
I chose this biblical story for our homecoming because it speaks of the transformation journey of the early followers of Jesus, and because it is a story that is still happening, that is still unfolding. It is a story that is not confined to one day. The two disciples walking to the town of Emmaus are representative of the followers as a whole in whatever year, decade, and century they find themselves. The stranger in the story, on the other hand, represents the living presence of Jesus, a presence that transcends physicality and that transcends physical appearances. This living presence is actually the unbroken and abiding presence which unfolds over many years after the death of Jesus. The Roman historian Cornelius Tacitus wrote these pejorative words about this truth in the early part of the 2nd century. Christus, the founder of the movement, had undergone the death penalty in the reign of Tiberius by sentence of the procurator Pontius Pilate, and the pernicious superstition was checked for the moment, only to break out once more not merely in Judea, but in the capital itself. The New Testament scholar, excuse me, the New Testament scholar John Dominic Crossan summarizes these words in this way: the movement of the followers of Jesus, far from being stopped by his death, had now reached all the way to Rome itself. What we have here is an unbroken and abiding presence that reached us centuries later to give life to Plymouth United Church, this unbroken and abiding presence. We live and have our being in this unbroken and abiding presence. Now, when we look at the Emmaus story, we find how the journey of transformation unfolded among those who faced threats, harassment, persecution, and even death because of their faith and commitment to Jesus' radical welcome. In the Emmaus story, the stranger joins the two disciples on the journey. He asks them, "What are you talking about?" They tell him that they're talking about Jesus' death and how they had hope that he was the one that they had been waiting for. The stranger then leads them to reach back into their own scriptures to witness the full narrative of their experience. Let me repeat that. The stranger then leads them to reach back into their own scriptures to witness the full narrative of their experience. He invites them to see their story in the light of the larger story of which they now are a part. There's a fuller story, there's a fuller narrative, and you are a part of it. And to reclaim it, to discover it, you need to reach back. You need to reach back. He is saying to them, your story arises from a living past, not a dead past. This living past and those in it shared your same hopes and aspirations, gave articulation to your deepest longings and struggles, and laid the groundwork for you and countless others. It is a living past. It is not a dead past. In reaching back, the followers of Jesus proved to be seekers of the full story, the full narrative that gives life to the present moment and the future. Seekers know that the quest is what matters. Seekers understand that the journey is the destination. Seekers know that the journey is the destination. Believers stop because they have arrived. I've arrived at my creed, I've arrived at my doctrine, I've arrived at what I believe, and I need not go on further. But seekers know that the journey goes on, that the explorations never end, that the destination is the journey itself. Plymouth, as we reach back in this way, who comes to mind? You're not going to need to answer, but who comes to mind as we reach back in this way? What breakthroughs come to mind for you as we reach back into a living past? What theological moments of enlightenment come to mind as you reach back into this living past? What decisions come to mind that changed the life of Plymouth? What crossroads come to mind that you crossed and began a new journey? Some of you are able to reach back to the precise moment when Plymouth's four voices arose with great clarity. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand because that might date you, but some of you are able to remember when the four voices of this congregation rose with great clarity. I see some of you shaking your heads. How precious an inheritance. These four voices of progressive theology, LGBTQIA plus inclusion, contemplative spirituality, and social justice will continue to define and shape our present and future, for they participate in the unbroken and abiding presence of our community here at Plymouth. And as your new pastor, I make a commitment to build on that continuity, on that unbroken and abiding presence. Sometimes we reach back to heal a wounded past. I've talked to some of you about how past painful experiences simply cannot be ignored. Living in the moment at times, and for some, necessitates traveling back to confront what still has control over their lives. Sometimes we need to reach back to those painful moments because we need to confront them because they still control us. This is necessary. The difference, however, is that here at Plymouth, we will reach back with you. We will travel back with you. Your journey there will be our journey too. And together we'll come back with the treasures of healing, of new strength, of new courage, and of new determination. The healing is ongoing, and for this reason, we don't leave each other's side. We do not leave each other's side. This is what the Emmaus story is about in the early church. They reach back to the full narrative to discover their healing and their empowerment. Then in the story, the disciples were so moved by this stranger that they invite him to stay with them. This is what we read. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on, but they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us." Quédate con nosotros. Quédate con nosotros. Because it is almost evening and the day is now nearly over. So he went in to stay with them. I believe that the essence of an extravagant welcome really is the message, stay with us. You don't need to leave. We want you to stay with us. Queremos que ustedes se quedan con nosotros, porque son partes de nosotros. You don't need to leave. We want you to stay. We don't say, you've overstayed your time here. Move on. We don't say that, right? We say, stay with us. Stay with us. Here we reach in just like we reach back. We reach in to discover now the full identity of who we are when we are together as kindred. At first, we start out as strangers, but the more we reach in, the more we see the fullness of each other's precious identities. And together, these precious identities are a living and beautiful mosaic of a living and beautiful people and community. This reaching in leads to our communion with one another. Communion means union with one another, an unbroken and abiding communion. Communion significa unión, uno con el otro, la otra. Communion means being together in a deep way, learning about each other in a deep way, hearing each other's story with open hearts and minds. What this story is telling us is that in the breaking of the bread and the drinking of the cup, they found themselves fully embracing one another, no longer as strangers, but now as part of the same spiritual family of love and faith. That takes reaching in. We are not just talking about the Eucharistic moment. We are talking about a full sharing of our hearts with one another, a full sharing of ourselves with no fears of being judged and excluded. Now the hospitality brims over when we eat meals together, feed each other in the hour of need, provide care to one another, watch out for one another, do ministry together, and advocate for one another, and much, much more. When a church reaches in, they learn what needs to stay and what needs to go. Did you hear those words? When a church reaches in, they learn what needs to stay and what needs to go. In other words, the church learns what is vital and necessary and makes for new life, and what needs to go because it represents what no longer serves our true identity and our call. It may have in the past, but now we need to let it go, and we need to invite something new to stay with us. This is what I hear in the contemporary witness of both Steinman and Einstein. Gloria Steinman said, "Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities." This is to say, there comes a time when leaps of imagination and dreaming are what serves us well, what we need. And this takes a leap. Not just a jump, not just a hop. It takes a leap of imagination and dreaming. Are you ready to leap? We follow these words with one of Einstein's most known quotes: "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking used when we created them." In other words, to solve our problems, to meet our challenges, to transcend our limitations, we need to think in new ways. We need to think outside the box. Reimagining ourselves takes a new way of thinking. In the UCC, we are fond of saying, which is a part of the God is Still Speaking campaign. You ready? We may be 2,000 years old, but our thinking is not. You like that one? We may be 2,000 years old, but our thinking is not. For me, this is what is meant by the words, "Their eyes were opened. They see the stranger in a new light." It is in our union across race, across class, age, gender identities, sexual orientation, educational levels, religious traditions, able and disabled, documented and undocumented categories, that the veils of ignorance fall from our eyes, and we can now see what we could not see before. We have sung it before because it is true. "I once was blind, but now I see." These are the words penned by a former slave trader who saw the light, who now sees the slave as one of his own. We are siblings because there really is just one human race. One human race. Many ethnicities, but one human race. Una raza, la raza humana. The two disciples now begin to say, "Didn't our hearts burn when he spoke to us?" And this is possible for all of us. Hearts ablaze because of transparent words in transparent conversation. This is what it means to reach in. Now we hear what for me are three remarkable words hidden right there in plain sight. That same hour. Esa misma hora. That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem. After reaching back and after reaching in, now they are ready to reach forward to give expression to their new witness and their new welcome. Read the story again, and you will find that only one disciple is named, Cleopas. The other goes nameless. Why? The scholars believe this is so because she is a woman, no need to mention her. Consensus. That is why only one disciple was named. That is why one disciple was named. See, the other was a woman, no need to name her. That same hour, we create sacred spaces for the nameless to name themselves. We create sacred spaces for the voiceless to have voice. That same hour is the hour the United Church of Christ does the most remarkable and radical acts of courage that transform society. In 1700, the Reverend Samuel Sewall, a UCC forebear, writes the first anti-slavery pamphlet in America, The Selling of Joseph. Sewall lays the foundation for the abolition movement. In 1973, a young member of the Old South congregation in Boston, in which I've worshiped in the past, Phyllis Whitley, becomes the first published African-American author, poems on various subjects is a sensation, and Whitley gains her freedom from slavery soon after. In 1853, Antoinette Brown is perhaps the first woman in history elected to serve as a pastor to a Christian congregation. In 1972, Bill Johnson is the first openly gay man to be ordained in the United Church of Christ, and I got to work with Bill Johnson. In 1973, at one of its general synods, 95 United Church of Christ delegates charter a jet plane from St. Louis to go stand in solidarity with Cesar Chavez and farm workers boycotting and picketing for their rights. I knew this was going to move me. All of this. And on July 4th, 2005, the General Synod overwhelmingly passes a resolution supporting same-gender marriage equality. Do you see how that same hour is transcendent? And it is the hour in which we too get up and reach forward to be mission-focused in new ways. It is in the spirit of this hour and reaching forward that we recently voted to adopt and set in motion our new 3-year vision plan here at Plymouth. It is in the spirit of this hour and reaching forward that we are now creating a new LGBTQIA+ inclusion center here at Plymouth. When legislation closes the doors on public universities and colleges and the gay community, we open them. We open them. Yesterday at Woodlands Pride, the 4 students with whom we are working, Amy and I are working to create this new center, were there, and together our hearts were ablaze with the excitement of this reality that we are very intentionally moving forward, and they are here with us in the back. CJ, Sophie, and Sarah. Did I get it right? And Tess could not be here with us, but she was there yesterday, and she came by our booth very early. That same hour we get up, we show up, and we dare to create new firsts as we have done in the past. In this transcendent hour, we walk alongside each other, not in front, not in back, but alongside each other as empowered equals. In this transcendent hour, we make possible what others continue to say is impossible. This is our transcendent hour, Plymouth, reaching back, reaching in, and reaching forward. Amen. Please join me in this prayer adapted from Mary Lou Kanowski, entitled Prayer for the Decade of Nonviolence. Altogether, we bow to the sacred in all creation. May our spirits fill the world with beauty and wonder. May our minds seek truth with humility and openness. May our hearts forgive without limit. May our love for friend, enemy, and outcast be without measure. May our needs be few and our living simple. May our actions bear witness to the suffering of others. May our hands never harm a living being. May our steps stay on the journey of justice. May our voices speak for those who are poor without fear of the powerful. May our prayers rise with patient discontent until no child is hungry. May our life's work be a passion for peace and nonviolence. May our souls rejoice in the gift of life. May our imagination overcome death and despair with new possibility. And may we risk reputation, comfort, and security to bring this hope to the children. Amen. Now please join me in a moment of silence for those who have perished in the war in Israel and in Gaza and in the West Bank and in all the land of Palestine. Amen.
Each week we collect 2 offerings. One is for the church, which goes into our general fund for the running of the church and our ministries. The other is the loose offering, which is sent to a designated charity which changes each week. Today, our loose offering will go to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. The mission of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society is to mobilize people and resources to drive research for a cure and to address the challenges of everyone affected by MS. Their vision is to create a world free of MS. Through local support groups, adaptive art therapy, swim therapy, adaptive physical training, easy access to MS navigators, and events like Walk MS, Bike MS, Texas MS 150, folks living with MS find connection, community, support, and hope. If you would like to give to our general fund, to the loose offering, or to both, there are various ways you can give. Simply use bill pay from your bank, send us a check, use the Plymouth app, use the Plymouth push pay according to the directions on your cell phone or your computer screen, or you can use the QR code, which is on the back of the chair, so it would be on the chair in front of you. Please feel free, if you have your offering with you today, to drop it in the glass church in the back near the doors to the narthex. The envelopes for your offering can be found in the chair backs in front of you. Designate your contribution to loose offering or general fund, and feel free to write your name on the envelope. As always, thank you for supporting Plymouth and the ministries of the loose offering. please remain standing and join me in our responsive prayer. O Holy One, giver and protector of life, you call us to be stewards of your bounty and caretakers of creation. Empower us to always receive and use the varied gifts from your hands wisely, and teach us the power of generosity. Bless now these gifts we offer, and may they serve to bless one and all. Amen. You may be seated. We have a video for all of you, and it is called Why I Love Plymouth. Many members of our congregation came together, and Mark Vines, in his video wizardry, recorded and created this video to talk about why it is that we love Plymouth. So we hope this will be as meaningful to all of you as it was to those of us who were part of creating it.
Hi, I'm Pastor Felix. I am the minister at Plymouth United Church. I was called to serve this wonderful congregation in March of this year. I am pleased and delighted to be here. I love how progressive this congregation is. I love how welcoming it is of the LGBTQIA+ community. I really appreciate that we're seeking to be a multiracial, multicultural church where all of our voices are heard, where all of our stories are embraced and celebrated. This is a unique congregation, Plymouth United Church, and I am thankful to be here. I am thankful to serve as the pastor of this congregation. We are now on a wonderful transformation journey. Folks are pitching in, folks are diving in and doing things for our congregation so that it can be strong and be revitalized and be energized for its mission, because we know here at Plymouth that we have a very powerful mission for our community and beyond our community. I am grateful, truly grateful for Plymouth United Church. And now we're going to hear from others about why they love this congregation and what they appreciate most about this church.
Hi, my name is Amy Broadhurst, and I've been coming with my family to Plymouth for over 15 years. What I love about Plymouth is the extravagant welcome that we have felt here at Plymouth. I also believe strongly in the four voices. Two of those that really mean a lot to me and my family are progressive theology. Here at Plymouth, we aren't believers, we are seekers. And also the LGBTQIA acceptance and celebration. I feel like all people should be welcome in the church, and that's what Plymouth believes, and that's why I'm here.
My name is Amy Friday, and I've been coming to Plymouth for almost 15 years. I come to Plymouth because of their open arms and acceptance of you no matter where you are or who you are or anything that you've gone through. I first came to Plymouth because I wanted companionship and acceptance for being LGBTQIA, and I had found a family and so much more, and I just keep coming back because their hearts and their arms are so wide open and accepting and loving, and they've just grown into my family, and they're just wonderful here.
Mi nombre es Francis Ramos. Llegué a la iglesia Plymouth buscando una mejor vida espiritual y la encontré. Gracias a todos por ayudarme a ser una mejor persona y por estar siempre para mí. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Hello, I'm Jan Lundy, and I was raised UCC, and I have been at Plymouth since 1993. That's 30 years. I think I'm the oldest member here at this point in years at Plymouth. Anyway, Plymouth has endured many ups and downs. Plymouth is resilient, determined, and generous in her spirit and welcoming to all. I am here because Plymouth challenges my beliefs and my faith. Many years ago, before I even came to Plymouth, I made a promise to myself that I would never say who could or could not sit in the seat next to me. And Plymouth has helped me to keep that promise and helped me to realize that all people are God's children and loved by God. I am thankful to Plymouth and members past and present for making it so easy for me to be a good person and to welcome all people. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark Vines. My family has been coming to Plymouth since 2012, just a few months before our first daughter was born, Abby. The reason we come to Plymouth is Plymouth embraces diversity, it fights for the marginalized, and it celebrates families like mine. So we're not only included, we're not only accepted here, we're actually celebrated. And so I thought that was important not only for my life, but important for us as a family raising children, that they're raised up in that environment. So I love Plymouth, I love everything about Plymouth, I love our congregation, I love what we stand for as a community, and this is the place to be.
Good morning, my name is Peggy Johnson. Have been a member of Plymouth Church since 2002. And as I was sitting in the service this morning and we were singing the first song about holy ground, and I thought, this is why I come to Plymouth, because the music, the atmosphere, the fact that it is United Church of Christ, because I'm a dyed-in-the-wool UCCer, and Plymouth, for me, is about everything that's good about the UCC. It's about inclusivity, it's about education, it's about learning your faith and realizing that it's a journey, and it takes time and it takes effort to learn about what you were committed to. And there are so many things about Plymouth. I like the services because they're very informal, but very meaningful, very well thought out. The music and everything is good. And I was thinking, I've been in UCC churches all of my life, and that's been a long time. But I don't think I've ever been to another church that has as much kindness as Plymouth does. It seems to me that other places that I have been, there were always people who might have a little bit of a mean streak or something like that, and I have not found that. And if I had to describe Plymouth in one word, it would be kindness. And I'm grateful that it's here, and for the people who keep it going, since obviously I've got a little long in the tooth to help along that way. So anyway, thank you, Plymouth, for being here.
Hey, I'm Jeff, and I started coming to Plymouth about 12 years ago. At first, I was drugged to church, but since then I've learned the family here at Plymouth, the people here at Plymouth, what Plymouth stands for, we need. And so not only have I been coming, I've been helping and continue to help and grow because I want to see this place succeed.
Hi, my name is Mary. I've been a member of Plymouth for over 6 years now, and I continue to come because the people here are so welcoming, and I feel like they're part of my family.
Hello, I'm Paula McKnight. I'm a member of Plymouth United Church of Christ here in Spring. I've been here for about 7 years. I left Catholicism, which I had been for my whole life, but I didn't identify with it anymore, so I was told by many, many people to just give Plymouth a try. So I came and immediately decided this was my home, my forever home. I identify with the four voices: the contemplative spirituality, the progressive theology. Social justice is real big for me, and the acceptance of the LGBTQ community. For that reason, I love it here. The people are wonderful, open and affirming, accepting of people with mental illness, people with disabilities, people of all social backgrounds, and I just love it here. And I would encourage anyone to take those to heart and just try. Just come here and try. You won't regret it. I love it here. I love Pastor Felix. He inspires me. He touches my soul every Sunday.
Hi, I'm Bill Hoffman, and we've been coming to Plymouth regularly for a little over a year, me personally. But before that, my in-laws came, and when they both passed, the compassion, the love that we felt, the support, it inspired us to continue coming, and that's why I come. Plymouth is real. They are. The love and the acceptance is unquestioned, what's the word I'm looking for? It's complete. You feel it.
Hi, I'm Pam. I've been a member of Plymouth for 15 years now. Prior to coming to Plymouth, I would have described myself as an agnostic, and I only came here because I came with a friend, but I loved it so much that I kept coming. And the thing about Plymouth for me is the acceptance and the love, and the fact that it's very, I consider it a social activist kind of church. We try to do things to help the community, and that appeals to me very much.
Hi, I'm James Glines, and the reason why I like coming to Plymouth United is a strong sense of community. And you know, it's kind of a difficult time in my life, but I really sense a bond with people that share some of the suffering as well as the joys. And you know, to be honest, I really enjoy like the book club or the choir. And probably my most favorite is the after-church snacks. And you know, people put up with my dumb jokes. So if that's possible, then I feel very welcome here. So thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is TJ, and I've been coming to Plymouth for 10 years. Prior to that, it had been approximately 50 years since I had been in church. And once I found out about Plymouth, I've been here ever since. They welcome me, they accept me for who I am, and I just keep coming back and get rejuvenated every week. I also have handled the welcome desk for 10 years. I have the best job at Plymouth, and I love seeing everyone come here and greet them every Sunday. So keep coming back, and we'll be looking for you.
Hello, I'm Corporal Angel. I'm the church security here at Plymouth. I've been attending Plymouth for the last year and 5 months. And the reason why I love coming to Plymouth and also working Plymouth is because first off, it's an open and affirming church. And secondly, very welcoming, and they love everyone, and they actually care about each and every member and visitor at the church.
My name is Mary Davis, and I've been coming to Plymouth for about 13 years. The reason my husband and I chose Plymouth over other congregations that we visited was because it was a congregation of people that took their words into action. We've done voter registration, we've done social justice activities. We also have a NAM garden, and I love gardening and working in the garden.
Hi, I'm Marshall Davies. I've been associated with Plymouth for 4 years, working with the music, and I just love the intentional and sincerely friendly welcome that I get here. And then it's crazy because other people trust me the same way. They feel like I'm welcoming them, and so somebody comes and gives me a big hug or says, you know, oh, that was scary, and they reach out to me to hold their hand, and I'm like, wow, these are the wonderful things that happen at Plymouth. It really is welcoming in a different way. Thanks.
Wow. Please stand as you are able, in body or in heart, and let's sing together, "In the bulb there is a flower." It is found in the New Century Hymnal, number 433, which you can find underneath your seat.
What a wonderful homecoming, a celebration of Plymouth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you have done to make this a wonderful moment. Now let us receive the benediction. May the love of God, unbroken and abiding, may the grace of Jesus, unbroken and abiding, and may the peace of the Spirit, unbroken and abiding, be with you and me and our world, now and forevermore. Amen.